Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Behind the Brag, and I'm Bhavin Patel who will be hosting this podcast. Today on the panel we have someone who's not just surviving college but practically thriving it. Aryan Nanda is a third year student at the legendary Sri Ram College of Commerce. He has already worn more hats than most people do in a lifetime. He's done everything from consulting to research to building a startup and everything that a person could actually do in a college. So, but here we are to talk with him not just about his spectacular CV, but who Aryan Nanda is beyond his CV and how has SRCC shaped him. So, Aryan, a very warm welcome to you on the show. Hope you're doing great.
Thank you, Bhavin. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction of mine. Really happy to be here. Really grateful for the opportunity that you guys gave me.
The pleasure is all ours, Aryan. Yeah, so before we dive in, if you could tell us about who Aryan Nanda is beyond SRCC and a third year student.
Okay, so Aryan Nanda has changed over the past 2 years, of course, after getting into college. So what started as a shy little timid student, just straight up coming out of school into such a college where, everyone is doing something. And he was just sitting there, struggling to even get into societies. Now that I have been doing all of this is has just changed me a lot. Apart from all of this, I have got into a lot of things as well. Pehle, it was difficult for me to even strike up a conversation. Now I'm sitting here on a podcast with you guys. Now, Pehle, fitness and sports was just a myth. Now I've been actively pursuing it as well. So yeah, this is Aryan Nanda beyond his CV, beyond his professional experience, a person who loves to talk, a person who loves to, just be fit and be active, and a person who just, loves to build something on the go.
So, can you tell us how your first reaction was when you got the news that you've gotten into the legendary SRCC?
Okay. So it wasn't like every other person ki, oh my God, I got into SRCC or something like that. Because uh, if you have gone through this UAT process, you know that you get that particular answer key after you're done with everything, right? So you get a score. And fortunately, touch wood, the score was enough that I knew already ki hone wala hai. I was just waiting for the allocation system and the normalization that would happen, of course. Fortunate enough, the normalization went in my favor, and I did not get more than, I guess it was 7 marks that were deducted. And yes, it was, of course, not normal, but something that made everyone proud around me. So there was a shift from being the person who is just, sitting at home for the entire 1 year of his school, just studying, to the actual outcome that I was able to see and the people around me were able to see. The best thing that happened was I was able to brag about my college, being very honest here.
I mean, yeah, so CULT exam centers are infamous all around the world की लाइट नहीं चल रही फैन नहीं चल रही पेपर का टाइम हो गया बट पेपर नहीं दिया. How was your experience?
So, मेरे time पे तो it was CBT computer based mode, right? They have implemented pen and paper like in the last year only. So उस time पे my first exam center, the first day of my exams, 3 exams were there. So it went very smooth. That was not an issue. The official center, which should have been way smoother, actually faced a lot of difficulties. So the verification system was not working. They took your Aadhaar, they took your photo and everything. It was not working. तो उसमें हमारा कुछ समय निकल गया and then some of the computers were not working. If the computers were working, the questions were not loading. So the actual NTA center, which was supposed to be way smoother, was actually the one that became a nightmare for many other people. Fortunately, my computer was working fine. Otherwise, I don't know what I would have done. So yes, they are infamous for the right reasons.
Since you have done many live projects and various internships, would
Hmm.
you hire an SRCC graduate
Hmm.
or an IPM graduate, and why not the
Or
other?
an IPM graduate. Okay.
Yeah.
To be very honest, it is not about SRCC or IPM. Okay. Both of the candidates have proved themselves in those competitive exams, which lakhs and lakhs of people just yearn for, right? They yearn to get into these colleges, only the top 1% gets into it. So if the choice is between an SRCC or an IPM grad, I would suggest I would look at the person rather than the college. But if it is between maybe an SRCC kid or maybe an XYZ college out of nowhere, again, a no-brainer SRCC kid. Because that person has proved himself over and over again by again scoring in 12th, then cracking an exam, then surviving in SRCC or maybe an IM, which is like very difficult, or maybe in another college that offers, IPMAT. So again, if the choice is between these two people, that 100% depends on the kid that is there. So if I were to say, just give an example, the company which I am interning right now, the startup Perfoda, they saw my profile and then they saw another person's profile. They do have kids from every college that you can think of in DU. Good colleges like SRCC, maybe Sukhdev, and then colleges like DCAC, Shivaji College, etc. Right. So they did not differentiate between us. So again, they did it. They are in the industry. They did it because they know a person is more than the college tag. So yes, the final outcome would be that the person is more important than the college. If he or she can bring in the right skill sets, damn, you are in. Otherwise, you have to just prove yourself somewhere else.
That was a very detailed answer to it. So let's start off with how the campus life at SRCC is. If you could throw some light on the hostel system and the eateries nearby SRCC, and what's your go-to place for that matter?
Okay. So okay, campus life first of all. The campus is very small. If you're coming to SRCC, do not expect a big lavish campus like IITs and all. Very small campus, 15 minutes walking around the campus, you're done. The entire campus is over. The only thing good we have about the campus, if you are from the sports background, is the sports complex that we have. An indoor sports complex. Go there whenever you want, play whatever you want, doesn't matter. The classrooms use benches which are like there for decades, and these are very uncomfortable. If someone from my college is seeing this, please change those benches. But they are very uncomfortable. So, but the kind of environment you get in SRCC, apart from the campus, is what makes it the number one college. The people around you, the peer group that you have, someone somewhere, sometime is doing something which is out of your scope of imagination. You do. So there is this one guy in our college who is a very famous music producer. He's just sitting beside us giving the same tally exam that we are giving, and he's a famous music producer. Right. You can see one other person who is just a very famous influencer with 100K, 200K on Instagram, right? You can see another person building a startup just like me. You can see one person interning at some company you dream of ever getting a job at, right? तो हमेशा कोई ना कोई कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा कर रहा है जो तुम कभी सोच भी नहीं सकते. तो this is what makes SRCC, the people there. Now, if you move on to the hostel. So hostel allocation system, when you get into your first year, it depends on your CUET score, or if you are someone who did not get in through CUET, maybe a foreign student, then it depends upon the percentage that you have. Okay, so that is that. And what was the other thing that you asked?
Eateries nearby.
Eateries nearby. Okay, so again, very famous Kamla Market and Hudson Lane, just steps away. So you can go and explore as much as you want. Kamla Market में तुम shopping करो, खाना खाओ, जो मर्जी करो. You have plethora of options. Hudson Lane, if you want to go to cafes with your friends, you can go. बस कोशिश करना कि अपने बजट में करना जो करना, क्योंकि कॉलेज में ओवर स्पेंडिंग इज लाइक वेरी इजी.
Yeah, so can you throw some light on how the dynamics between seniors and juniors work? Ragging होती है क्या? Like I'll be very raw.
Okay, so like ragging, if you say officially, it doesn't happen, but unofficially, when you are in the process of getting through societies and I'm so sorry, but unofficially, when you are in the process of getting through societies and everything, हो सकता है some level of, because it is not a direct ragging but an indirect one, where they, so basically in SRCC it is very famous that the process of getting into a society is very torturous. Some societies even have up to 7 rounds of just getting into that one particular society. After that, some societies ask you to fill out some certain forms, sign some certain documents prohibiting you from pursuing any professional course and stuff like that. There is a lot of things that go around this. So I would say that direct nahi, but indirect ragging in the form of getting into the societies happens. And yes, dynamics between seniors and juniors really depends on what seniors you are with. So a senior like me or maybe some friends of mine who do not believe कि भाई, if we have seen the same toxicity from our seniors, we should pass it down. There are a lot of people who believe in that. तो वो लोग वही same चीज करेंगे. So it really depends upon the senior you are getting. And just come in with the expectation कि वो एक senior है, मैं एक junior हूँ, वो इतना receptive नहीं रहेगा तुम्हारी दोस्ती के लिए, because 90% of the people are like that. Okay. You cannot just expect a senior to become your friend in here in SR especially. तो थोड़े से dynamics ऐसे, but if you are in hostel, then the things shift very easily because you are living with those people 24/7. You tend to make friends, and then that thing grows even stronger. And so basically hostel is a very tight knit community, seniors, juniors, everyone. So if you're getting into hostel, then all the very best. बहुत अच्छे seniors मिलने वाले हैं जो तुम्हारे दोस्त भी बन सकते हैं. If you are in your PG and everything, and maybe if you share your room or a PG with a senior, then वो भी तुम्हारा अच्छा दोस्त बन सकता है. It really depends upon the time that you spend with your seniors. So all in all, this is what it is.
Yeah. So now moving on to a little bit of more cultural aspect of SRCC. Reddit is full of calling SRCC as having a toxic culture and fake friendships and LinkedIn show off. And what's your opinion on it since your first-hand experience on it?
Okay, somewhere or the other, Reddit is not wrong. Okay, I can vouch for it having a not actually a toxic culture because I've been through 2 years. Now that I get it, it cannot be termed as toxicity, but rather, okay, some part of it can be termed as toxicity, but majority part of it can be just termed as pure hustle. So SRCC just teaches you how to, take up shit when you are in corporate, because there every other society, every other club that you join more or less works like a corporate. You have hierarchy, you have leadership, you have to ask, you can take initiatives, but initiatives lead as well, of course you have to ask, and then the things might get approved, might not get approved. There are structural delays, there are even fights, people leaving in between, etc., etc., etc. A lot of things happen. Some part of it, as we say here, society politics, can be considered as toxic because there are events where the person who deserves something the most does not get it, and the other person who maybe has better connections gets it. So that part of it can be termed as toxicity, but the other thing can be just termed as your preparation to the corporate and pure hustle. So if you get through the first year of college, done. I think first year is the most difficult because you are the most unaware about college. I have seen a lot of people just dropping out because of this. So it happens. But yes, I think it is more or less hustle because it makes you what, you know, It makes you ready for the corporate. It makes you what you're gonna be in the future, what recruiters really want. So yeah, this is it. And talking about fake friendships, to be very honest, in college you cannot expect to build connections or friendships like you did in school. Because school में तुम किसी motive के साथ दोस्ती बनाते थे. You just went in, you found a person with your same music taste, boom, friends. Okay. You found a person playing pen fight with you, boom, friends. Right. College में आके you have a motive, a reason behind everything. कॉलेज में आके तुम्हें अगर इसे दोस्त बनाना है तो किसी ना किसी रीजन की वजह से ही बनेगा. मे बी सेम सोसाइटी है इसलिए वो दोस्त बना, सोसाइटी खत्म, दोस्त खत्म. राइट. तो again, this is something that is totally dependent upon you. But I would say at the end of your college life, there will be those two people. Fortunately, I have those two people in my life. So there will be those two people who will stay for the entire college life and maybe after that as well. तो इट रियली डिपेंड्स अपॉन यू कि तुम किस तरीके से अपने दोस्तों को चुनते हो, किस तरीके से अपने फ्रेंड्स को चुनते हो. एंड ऑफ कोर्स फर्स्ट ईयर में आके तुम्हें नहीं पता कौन अच्छा है, कौन सच्चा है, कौन नहीं है. तो या देयर विल बी अ लॉट ऑफ फ्रेंडशिप्स दैट डाई अलोंग द वे, बट द वंस हु आर मेंट टू स्टे विल स्टे.
So moving on to the interesting part, dating का क्या सीन है SRCC में?
भाई ओके, dating a scene in SRCC, I would say be aware of the person you choose to date. Because as mentioned earlier, जब तुम्हारे दोस्त नहीं रह रहे तुम्हारे साथ तो तुम इतना बड़ा रिस्क लेके अपना दिल किसी और के हाथ में रख दोगे. एंड जब तुम्हारा कटेगा तो फिर बहुत दुख होगा. तो देखो, माय पर्सनल फिलोसफी इज डेट व्हेन यू थिंक यू आर रेडी टू डेट. डेट व्हेन यू थिंक यू आर समवट इंडिपेंडेंट. अगर तुम अपने बाप के वैसे फ्लेक्स करके डेट करने जा रहे हो, मत करो भाई, मत करो. ना उस लड़की को समझ आएगा ना तुम्हें समझ आएगा. Dating culture in SRCC, okay, there is this very fun thing about this. Ki dating culture in SRCC is so bad they had to make an Instagram account to match people. So if you go search SRCC dating, these guys have an actual Instagram account where you follow, you fill out a form, and then based on your similar interests, they patch you with each other. They match you, and then you guys can talk forward. So they have built
SRCC
a
का
Tinder
Tinder.
sort of system. एग्जैक्टली एसआरसीसी का टिंडर बना रखा है इन लोगों ने. तो
अच्छा.
ऐसे हाल हो रखे हैं इस बारी के. बट ऑन अ सीरियस नोट, डेटिंग आई थिंक ठीक है. यू हैव ऑल द टाइम, यू हैव एवरीथिंग टू रिस्क राइट नाउ. तो ट्राई करके देखो, मे बी यू फाइंड अ पर्सन फॉर लाइफ. एंड इफ यू डू नॉट गेट अ पर्सन फॉर लाइफ, जाओ भाई अपने उन्हीं चार दोस्तों के पास वापस थोड़ा सा रोना करो एंड गेट बैक इनटू योर लाइफ अगेन.
Yeah, and is it true that South Indian students at SRCC feel out or mocked?
आई मीन ओके, South Indian students at SRCC feel out or mocked. I wouldn't say that because personally, I have seen this environment being so inclusive. Okay, तो यहाँ पे of course तुम अगर अपने दोस्तों के साथ हो and you belong from a different community, you belong from a different religion, तो वो तुम्हारा मजाक बनाते हैं. That is cool. Okay, दोस्तों के साथ तो चलता ही है. But when you go as a normally, so South Indian students have at SRCC is a very prominent demographic there. Before CUET, they were very prominent. CUET के बाद अभी थोड़ा सा कम हुआ है, but still they form like a very major demographic in SRCC. And most of them I've seen they come from hostels or PGs only, of course. So unka community again is very tight knit. And I don't think so. I haven't seen anyone mocking or just making them feel out of place. If you go, of course, मेरे से better perspective वो लोग दे पाएंगे. But I also have South Indian friends, and we are like very cool with each other, right? So I don't think so ऐसा कुछ है. But if it is there, then कोई सेंस नहीं है उस चीज का, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. वो इंसान भी उतनी मेहनत करके आया जितनी तुम मेहनत करके आए हो. तो जस्ट बी रिस्पेक्टफुल टू ईच अदर. हाँ, अगर तुम्हारा दोस्त है, मजे मजे में कर रहे हो, तो फिर भाई झूमर सीखो.
सही है. was SRCC sounds like an inclusive campus to me. And Do you think drinking and smoking is stigmatized at SRCC or is it the other way around?
Is it stigmatized? Stigmatized means in a negative manner. Okay. So, no. I think it is the other way around, to be very honest. So, okay. अगेन इसका बाद में कल्चर पे चला जाएगा बट द फैक्ट इज कि भाई तुम एसआर में आके इतना स्ट्रेस में आ जाते हो ना इतना सब कुछ होने लगता है तुम्हारे साथ कि यू फाइंड आउट वेज टू कोप विद स्ट्रेस नाउ मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल डू इट व्हाइल टॉकिंग व्हाइल चैटिंग व्हाइल रैंटिंग आउट बट द फैक्ट इज सम ऑफ देम दे कम फ्रॉम बैकग्राउंड जहाँ पे ड्रिंकिंग एंड स्मोकिंग इज नॉर्मल तो उनके लिए तो ठीक है सम ऑफ देम दे स्टार्ट एक्चुअली डूइंग इट यहीं पे इन कॉलेज ओनली है ना तो उसके लिए व्हाट हैपेंस इज अगेन पूरा एक्सेस है नॉर्थ कैंपस में तुम कहीं भी जाओगे तुम्हें बहुत आराम से मिलेगी तुम्हें दारू लेना है यू वांट टू स्मोक यू वांट टू डू एनीथिंग मिलेगा आराम से कोई दिक्कत नहीं है उसका ठीक है बट द फैक्ट इज आई डोंट थिंक इट इज स्टिग्मेटाइज्ड रादर द स्टूडेंट्स आर स्मार्ट इनफ टू नो कि भाई दिस इज नॉट समथिंग गुड एंड दिस इज नॉट समथिंग दैट आई शुड डू एवरी डे this is something that should be done in control and in limit so that I am able to regain my consciousness tomorrow and work better. This is something to, just make the moment light, just feel a little bit happier and, just gel in with people. Because there is this one thing that is very prominent that things like drinking and maybe smoking as well to some extent, they help you in building connections. Okay. This is something very, very raw, very, but you guys must have also felt it. Ki it helps in building connections sometimes as well. That is
Yeah,
why you
it's
see
kind of
most of
corporate thing as well, right?
exactly my point. It is kind of corporate thing as well. So again, but I would say the people here are smart enough and aware enough to know that this is not something that is good for my health and this is not something that should be done every other day. This is something that should be done on occasions where you're feeling happy. So maybe when you're going to a party or something, when you have a society outing, and maybe an after party that is very prominent in societies हमारे यहाँ पे, तो उस समय you do it, it's fine. But I'm happy and touch wood people here know how to respect limits of alcohol.
That's great, Aryan. So Delhi often gets this bad reputation when it comes to women's safety. Although SRCC seems like a safe campus, do you think women in SRCC still carry that concern?
Um, I would say in the campus, okay, I'll divide this into two parts. First of all, in the campus, then outside the campus, in the area where students, just stay, Kamla Nagar, North Campus, wala pura area. So within the campus, it is pretty safe. You have guards everywhere, so कोई problem नहीं है उसका. They do not allow entry without ID cards unless they know you that you're a regular student, you come every day. तो उसका दिक्कत नहीं है. Within the campus, I have hardly seen one or two events, very minor events happening, which is also not acceptable, but they were taken care of by the authorities. So that's not an issue. So again, within the campus, I don't think it is a problem. But outside the campus, when you are in the North Campus area, especially some particular part of it, then again, it becomes sort of an issue. क्योंकि अगर तुम वहां रह रहे हो एंड मोस्टली क्लासेस एसआर में आके तुम्हारी 6 बजे खत्म होती है देर आर थिंग्स कि तुम 6 बजे तक कॉलेज में ही हो देन यू हैव टू ट्रैवल बैक टू योर पीजी और ट्रैवल बैक टू योर होम इफ यू आर गोइंग टू होम देन मेट्रो से जाओगे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है बट अगेन इफ यू आर ट्रैवलिंग बैक टू योर पीजी और मे बी यूर हियर फॉर अ सोसाइटी इवेंट एंड तुम्हें 8 बजे तक 9 बजे तक रुकना है देन यू ट्रैवल बैक टू योर पीजी then there might be some areas that are somewhat unsafe. Of course, measures have been taken by the Students' Union, DUSU, that we say, Delhi University Students' Union, to ensure a safe campus. But again, not everything can be, just entirely safe. It is not 100% foolproof. So, my personal suggestion would be to just carry something for self defense, maybe a pepper spray or something, so that you just are safe within the campus that you want to study. बाकी कॉलेज कैंपस के अंदर इट्स completely fine. within the area, within the vicinity, you need to be a little bit safe.
Okay, that was a useful advice right there, Aryan. So, can you give me your personal opinion on the current president of DU, that is Rohan Khatri, Ronak Khatri?
Ronak.
Your personal opinion, how is he functioning, and is there anything that you would like to change?
Okay, ठीक है. My personal opinion would be that the person is doing great. Okay, I am not much into politics, तो मैं ज़्यादा उसके बारे में नहीं जानता या उसके background के बारे में नहीं जानता. What I have seen him doing is good. He's raising students' issues, but the way he's doing that is kind of unconventional, I would say. कभी भी पहले किसी ने ऐसा नहीं करा. You must have seen reels अगर तुम लोगों ने देखा होगा. ठीक है. He has done a lot of unconventional things, I
Yeah,
would
I
say.
was actually referring to a reel where he came to SRCC and was confronted by his student who was defending the faculty member of SRCC.
हाँ, that happened. तो अगेन उसके आगे क्या हुआ ज्यादा अपडेट्स है नहीं मेरे पास भी क्योंकि आई थिंक उसके बाद वो क्लोज हो चुका था. आई एम नॉट श्योर अबाउट व्हाट हैपेंड आफ्टर दैट. बट ओवरऑल जनरल पर्सपेक्टिव इज दैट what he's doing is good, raising students' issues, that should be done. But the way he does that is very unconventional. Some people like it, some people do not. I personally do not hold any particular opinion about him or the way he works. Apart from that, the thing is unconventional. And I just appreciate him for the fact that he's taking an active approach to solve students' problems.
Okay, that was a very diplomatic answer, Aryan. So, so to conclude this podcast, we will ask you one last question. What's a small joy in your college that still makes all the chaos in SRCC worth it?
What's a small joy in college that makes?
The chaos in SRCC worth it.
Okay, the small joy in college that makes all the chaos worth it. भाई एक स्मॉल जॉय अगर मुझे निकालना होगा ना दैट वुड बी कॉलेज के ठीक सामने एक चाय वाले भैया बैठते हैं. दैट वुड बी आई थिंक दैट मेक्स एवरीथिंग वर्थ इट. दैट मेक्स एवरीथिंग गो साइलेंट. वहां पे जाओ अपने दोस्तों के साथ एंड बैठ के बस चाय पियो. दैट्स इट. और कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है. एवरीथिंग विल स्लो डाउन. you'll just reflect back तुमने क्या करा क्या नहीं करा. तुम बस सब भूल जाओगे and you'll just be silent, be happy, be small. Okay.
It's
And
like a way to relieve and relax yourself.
exactly. अगर तुम्हें चाय पसंद है तो. अगर तुम्हें नहीं पसंद है then तो भाई फिर क्या कर रहे हो तुम. चाय वाय पीना स्टार्ट करो यार.
It was a really wonderful opportunity to have you on the panel, Aryan. We are really grateful to have you. Thanks for taking out your time and answering our questions. Have a great day.